everyone, you're watching Newegg TV. I'm Jennifer, and today I'm going to be doing an overview for you of the Legacy U3 family of cases from Rosewell. I just want to point out real quick, before we get started, these are small form factor cases. You probably did notice that, but what you don't know is that each version of this case can come in either a windowed side panel or a solid side panel, and silver or black. Let's take a look at the exterior of this case. Now the dimensions are 208 millimeters by 270 millimeters by 359 millimeters, or that's going to be 8.2 inches by 10.6 inches by 14.1 inches. On the front panel you can see it is a nice brushed aluminum. The entire case is made out of aluminum alloy. We have a on-off button here that is going to be illuminated by an LED, and then down at the bottom two USB 3.0 ports. Also at the top you have your speaker or headphone out, as well as the bottom being your microphone or line in. Turning now to the side, we have some air ventilation here across the front, and this big beautiful window, which basically the whole side of the case is practically the window, so you can see all of your great components on the inside. On the back we have two thumb screws. Now you can only remove the front panel off of this case instead of both sides. This does come off, but you would have to basically disassemble the entire case to get that side off. Now as there's no cable management behind the motherboard tray, there's really no reason to take, the whole case apart. So let's have a look at the back. First at the top. I'm going to notice your cutout for your power supply is not at the bottom like usual, but this does fit a standard ATX PSU, so it doesn't need a special size, which is good. Then right below that we have a mesh screen covering a pre-installed 120 millimeter fan, and your I/O cutout is right here. At the bottom we have 4 expansion slots. Now I'm going to turn it to the other side of the case, and you can see it's just plain with some more ventilation cutouts. Having a look now at the bottom of the case, we have 4 pre-installed feet. These are 12 millimeters high in order to give you good airflow across the bottom on these ventilation holes that are cut out. They are rubberized so they don't slide around on any surface. And you may notice there's some interesting screw holes here, for lack of anything better to call them. We also have some rubber grommets. This is for mounting either two 2.5 inch hard disk drives or one 3.5 inch hard disk drives. And these grommets are removable to any of these holes so that you can configure it however you need to. Now I'm going to do just a quick spin around so you can take a look at the top and get a better idea of the style and design of this case. And the top is just basic and plain. Now before we dig into the inside of the case, I did forget to mention the weight on this is 5.5 pounds or 2.5 kilograms. And I've also taken off the thumb screws before we got started, so I'm just going to easily remove this. Now it couldn't be any easier than that really to take the side of a case off. We have 2 pegs here, or I'm sorry, 3 pegs here that line up with holes in the side panel, and then 2 sound deadening foam squishy sticker pad things to keep it from humming and buzzing. I'm just going to set the side panel aside real quick. Now you're going to first notice this cage thing here. This is for a 3.5 inch hard drive, or I'm sure you could get creative if you really wanted to and mount another fan to this, or a 2.5 inch hard drive also. We have 4 screws here that you will need to remove to take this off in order to continue with your build on the inside of the case. As I mentioned before, we have one pre-installed 120 millimeter fan, and on the front here we have our connecting cables, as well as connecting cables for the fan, and the fan does include a 3-speed controller. Now at the back we have pre-installed standoffs on the motherboard tray. I'll try to tilt that up so you can see it a little bit better. Now this does have compatibility for mini ITX as well as micro ATX, depending on which you choose to use. So I wanted to give you a quick look at what the solid side panel case might look like in black. Also, this does come in a windowed version, or you can get the silver version with a solid side panel, depending on what your preference is. Again, it's very, very easy to remove the side panel. I'm actually being a lot nicer to it than I need to. There we go. And taking a look now at the inside of the black case, you can see it is black throughout. And I just wanted to go over some of your compatibility options with this case. You have a CPU cooler height maximum of 175 millimeters or 6.9 inches, which is actually pretty substantial. Additionally, you get a GPU length max of 260 millimeters or 10.2 inches, so that's a pretty full-size GPU that can fit in this small form factor case. Let's have a quick peek at everything that comes in the box. We get a user manual. This is going to include all of your specs and compatibility information, as well as installation guide for putting a system in this case. You get a baggie of very useful things, including some cable ties. Also, you get some extra stand-offs for your CPU cooler, whatever you need, and some additional grommets for your hard drive mounting points to keep them nice and stable and quiet. Plus, this is the bracket that is essential for installing your PSU in the top of the case. You'll put this in and it'll give it additional stabilization since the PSU, as I mentioned, is up in the top. All right, well that wraps up this product overview of the U3 family of legacy cases by Rosewell. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our various YouTube channels. Until next time, I'm Jennifer, and thank you for watching Newegg TV.